Today, we will be navigating institutional barriers and systematic biases as an immigrant. The reality is that the UK job market heavily favors candidates with existing social capital, local network, family connections, and UK corporate familiarities. Some of us can see immigrants facing severe imposter syndrome and subtle systematic biases during recruitment. And to help us dive into this topic, we have with us Dr. Olufemi Adesina, a UK research and innovation expert. It's nice to have you here, sir.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome to our studio. We will start with the first question. How would you describe the UK job market landscape that most skilled immigrants walk into?
I would want to describe that as being competitive, looking at post-COVID, and there's been influx of people from different continents coming into the country, from Asia, from South America, from Africa as well. So, yeah, there's also been several changes in government policy that has kind of increased the competitiveness that we're seeing in UK job market as of today. So, yeah, the citizens are not left out of this competition, but for the immigrants, they've got additional challenge on their hands to, trying to compete with those that are already in the country or those that were born in the country. So, yeah.
So how significant is social capital, that is local network, the right connection, in who actually gets hired?
I would say, yeah, social capital is very important. You can compare those that were born here, spend most of their life here, their social capital must have grown naturally. Unlike immigrants coming in maybe in their 30s and in their late 20s, yeah, you have to start from zero, trying to grow those social capital, trying to get those networks, links, know people, join professional bodies. So yeah, if you are able to get that for some immigrants that have got families in the system, they can easily let them know how the system work, suggest where to focus their attention, the type of licenses they might want to get, and that would serve as an advantage for them in securing a good job.
Also, we've also realized that imposter syndrome is widely reported among immigrant professionals, even very highly qualified ones. What drives it, and how does it show up in real life?
Imposter syndrome for foreigners coming to the system is bound to happen because you are used to a particular environment and which you are comfortable with, and then now you are in a new environment where you're starting afresh. You might not even know anyone in the system, and then the color of your skin is different. You don't even speak like the locals. You've got accent, different culture, traditions, background. So these are some of the things that triggers and drives inferiority complex. So when you find yourself as an immigrant in an organization where you are a minority, you are struggling to fit. Some people even try to speak like the locals. You even at work, you try to make sure that your emails are spot on. In the meeting, you over prepare for those meetings just to fit in, and these are some of the things that causes imposter syndrome.
So genuinely, we have these issues even in the place of work. Does that account for the reason why we don't have lots of immigrants being recruited in place of work? Because there are natural issues from what you have just...
Yeah, it's something that is not peculiar to this system over here. It's a global issue when people move from one place to where they are comfortable with their natural habitat to a new environment. Those type of adjustment is required. You need to understand the culture of the new environment, the traditions, how things are being organized, the type of licenses that are required to practice. If you need to convert your formal license from where you're coming from to the licenses that are acceptable in this new environment. These are some of the things that immigrants need to, or those that they need to, to face when they come into systems like this, and that might also kind of serve as a way of screening them out when they are not able to provide those licenses, and therefore they are unable to practice.
We have had of lots of instances where overqualified immigrants try to get job and still can't find their way through. Is that how does that play? What do you think is going on?
Yeah, because those institutions have their HRs, and those HR are used to their people, and they are used to certain certifications, say certain licenses, and it's difficult for them to verify whatever you've brought from abroad. In terms of, maybe they want you to write reference, they can verify those that are writing those references. They are not sure if your experience back home is applicable to what is actually required in the system. And even experiences, you see those HR asking for you UK experiences, Canada experiences, US experiences before they can give out the job even. And I've seen those with PhDs struggle a lot because they've got international experiences which the recruitment team feels that are not kind of what they've got, what they wanted, or what they're seeking for. So yeah,
I love your approach to that question, but you see, there are so many job seekers that thinks that there is institutional racism, and that is just around, and that's what they can see. Are you of that opinion as well?
I think it's a natural thing. You want to prioritize the people all over the world. People have agenda to support their own, to ensure that there's growth and development in their own. But at the same time, immigrants need to understand that it takes time to settle in. You are competing with people that have been here, leading you, living here. They were giving birth here. They've got some have been working for God knows when. Started working at an early age, understand the organizational culture or traditions, so that puts them ahead of immigrants that are just coming in. So obviously there will be subtle biases in those organizations and institutions, but overall I would say that it takes time for immigrants to kind of come into a system and start developing and start growing.
From your experience, do you think migrants actually understand that indigenes will want to favor their people more?
Yeah.
Do you see? So, I mean, their fathers have built the nation, and they have to. And some of the messes that different leaders in different nations are causing all around, they don't want it overflowing into this environment. Do you see that as something that job seekers need to understand?
Yeah, I think it's an important point you've kind of highlighted there. I haven't spoken to so many immigrants. I see that they are kind of they've set expectations so high that they are now disappointed. But to be fair, you need to understand that this is their natural habitat. You cannot just come here and try to overshadow them, or human being will resist. They will resist that type of encroachment. Even in the animal kingdom, it also happens. They will definitely resist new people, new faces with new culture and traditions coming in. So yeah, I think at the back of our mind, immigrant needs to know that you are going, it's not always going on the other side, and you are going to be faced with this sort of challenges. So yeah, they might want to also not raise their expectations so high, so that when they are being faced with all this kind of orders and challenge, you can deal with it and not having mental health issues.
So what you're saying is essence is that we need to understand that employers and different institutions will always favor their kind.
Yeah,
it's a natural thing. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly what I'm trying to say. It's a natural thing. Even from wherever you're coming from, the government of those countries would have to also prioritize their people, set the agendas of their country to favor and support their own, and that has been the trend all over the world.
I mean, it's but eventually we see some people still get good jobs. What do you think would be responsible for this?
Yeah, I would want to say, despite the fact that the job market currently looks saturated, or let me say competitive, people that are intentional, and there's a bit of luck, there's a bit of working hard, people start early, like start digging information, getting informed, joining communities that can assist, and as we said earlier in our conversation, we also mentioned social capital, which is underestimated sometimes. These are some of the things, because before some jobs are even advertised on the job boards, you see people already referring their friends, their colleagues, their old colleagues, and telling them that there could be some position or opening in our organization. So start dusting your CV, preparing for that position. So by the time the job is eventually advertised, those that are well prepared, those that have the network and the inside information are the one getting the job. So that's how it works.
So in a nutshell, what you're saying is that it's going to be difficult to have a level playing field.
Yeah, to be fair, I would agree with you. It might be very difficult, especially in a country that harbors or accommodates different people from different backgrounds, different disciplines. Definitely the competition will be there. Yeah, I think the onus is on the immigrant to come in, understand the system, know how the system works, and then do what it takes to adjust and fit into the.
So, but on the whole, we have people that have struggled and tried to settle down in terms of job, and things are still difficult. What do you want to say to that? What are your advice to such people?
I would say that I will encourage them on one side not to give up, because
to keep trying.
Yeah, and that is why intentionality is important. You don't want to give up too early. But I also understand that immigrants are faced with the challenge of visas and sponsorship, which can be restricting sometimes, and also time limit. So after giving your all, if nothing is also forthcoming, then I will encourage you not to rule out returning to your
that's a very tough one to say.
Yeah, it's a very tough one, because so many immigrants have invested a lot in coming in the first place. Some have gone through the educational route, which is financially heavy, and then they want a return on their investment. But as life turned out to be, if you're unable to get what you want, there have been stories of people returning to their home country and doing absolutely great after returning. So yeah, that might be your own pathway. So don't rule out that possibility.
So Dr. Additional, we want to appreciate you for coming to our studios. It's nice to help us to just to assist us in looking into this topic that is all over the place about the biasness, or as to what most immigrants say regarding job recruitment and moving on in this country. Thank you very much, and we hope to see you next time.
Thank you for having me.